All right, so imagine this, right? You've got this awesome project you're working on, and it's totally outgrowing your current hosting setup. Like, you need more power, more control. It's time for a VPS, am I right? So you head over to Heart Internet. They seem pretty solid, but then, bam, you're hit with the options, self-managed or fully managed. And suddenly you're feeling like you need a computer science degree just to figure out what it all means.
Oh, absolutely. I've been there staring at those terms like they're written in a foreign language. It's a common point of confusion, for sure.
Uh,
Luckily for us, though, the materials we've got here dive deep into what each option actually offers. We've got use cases, performance stats, the whole nine yards.
Love it when they give us the details. So real quick, for anyone who might be new to the game, what's the deal with Heart Internet? Give us the lowdown.
Sure. So they're a UK-based company, been around since 2004, which in internet years is like ancient history. They've got experience for sure. And importantly, they're not just some small-time operation. They've got a global reach.
Yeah, they've definitely got their fingers in a lot of pies. But like you said, we're focusing specifically on their VPS options today because, let's be real, that's where the big decision lies.
Exactly. It's the heart of the matter, so to speak.
Pun intended.
Maybe.
All right, so let's jump into it. First up, we've got the self-managed VPS, which to some might sound a little intimidating, like, do I need to know how to code to handle this thing?
Haha. That's a fair point. It can sound a bit daunting, I'll admit. The truth is, it depends. Heart Internet is very upfront about this. Self-managed is really for those who are comfortable with the technical side of things. It's like, you know, building your own computer versus buying one pre-built. You've got complete freedom, but with that comes a responsibility of knowing what you're doing.
So you're saying it's like the Wild West of web hosting. You're free to roam, but you're also responsible for fending off any bandits yourself.
Pretty much. You're in the driver's seat, you've got root access, you can tweak server configurations to your heart's content, but if something goes wrong, well, you're the one who needs to fix it.
Okay, I'm starting to understand. So with self-managed, what are we trading for that level of control? What are we giving up?
Good question. Essentially, you're taking on the role of your own system administrator. Don't get me wrong, Heart Internet gives you the tools. They've got performance monitoring, one-click upgrades. They guarantee 99.9% uptime, which is pretty standard, but still important. And they've got unlimited bandwidth, which is always a plus. But here's the thing. They're not managing any of that for you.
Right, so you're basically your own IT department. You're responsible for making sure everything runs smoothly.
Precisely. And that includes things like software updates, security patches, all that fun stuff. But one thing that really caught my eye in their materials was their emphasis on NVMe SSDs.
NVMe SSDs. Now that sounds impressive and all, but in plain English, what does that even mean for the average user? Like, what's the tangible benefit?
Think of it this way. Imagine you're trying to load a web page, right? And instead of those images slowly chugging along, everything pops up instantly. Like, boom, there it is. That's the kind of speed we're talking about with NVMe SSDs.
Okay, so we're talking speed demons. That's got to be a game changer, especially for businesses that rely on, fast loading times to keep customers happy. But who exactly is Heart Internet picturing as their ideal self-managed user?
They're actually pretty straightforward about it. We're talking web developers, especially those with lots of clients who need different server environments. Also, businesses running those resource-intensive applications that need constant fine-tuning. Basically, if you love digging deep into the technical nitty-gritty, self-managed might be right up your alley.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not for everyone, but for the right person. It's like giving them the keys to the kingdom. But speaking of kingdoms, what about those of us who would rather have someone else manage our digital realm? That's where fully managed VPS comes in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for all of us who, let's be honest, don't have time to become server whisperers, there's Heart Internet's fully managed VPS option. Sounds pretty idyllic. Just sit back and let them handle everything, right?
That's the gist of it, yeah. Think of it this way. Heart Internet becomes your silent business partner, taking care of all that behind-the-scenes tech stuff that can really eat up your time. And thankfully, these materials get into the nitty-gritty of what that actually entails.
Okay, because fully managed can mean a lot of different things depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
So what kind of nitty-gritty are we talking about here?
Exactly. A lot of providers are happy to throw that term around without really clarifying what it includes. But Heart Internet, to their credit, lays it all out. So right off the bat, you've still got that 99.9% uptime guarantee, the unlimited bandwidth, all the good stuff from the self-managed plan. But here's where things get interesting. They bundle in what they call expert services as a core part of the fully managed VPS. And it's not an add-on, it's just included.
Oh, okay. I was going to say there's always a catch.
Yep. They even provide a whole breakdown of what these expert services actually cover. We're not just talking basic server monitoring here. They handle SSL certificate installations, which, let's be real, can be a pain to deal with.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
And crucial for security these days.
absolutely. But there's more. They'll take care of those WordPress updates we all love to procrastinate on. And get this, they even optimize your database for you.
Okay, see, now, that's something I would happily pay someone else to do. Databases are like a whole other language to me.
They can be intimidating, even for experienced developers, honestly. But what Heart Internet emphasizes is that database optimization is key for site speed. And as we already touched on earlier, speed is make or break online.
Oh, absolutely. Every millisecond counts, so no more late-night database tutorials for us. But, one thing that stood out to me in their materials was their target user for this fully managed option. It's not just people who are clueless about technology, right?
Not at all. They actually describe their ideal, fully managed VPS customer as someone who understands the power and flexibility of a VPS. Maybe they even have the skills to manage it themselves, but they realize that their time and energy are better spent on other areas of their business.
It's all about working smarter, not harder. Am I right? You've got a business to run. You don't want to be stuck troubleshooting server issues at 2 a.m. It's all about prioritizing, right?
Yeah.
Focusing on your strengths and letting the experts handle the things that would take you away from, actually running your business.
Speaking of experts, something caught my eye in Heart Internet's FAQs. They specifically mentioned that you can't use fully managed to fix, pre-existing problems on a server. What's the deal with that? Ah, yeah, that's an important detail. Switching to fully managed is great for ongoing support, keeping things running smoothly. But it's not a time machine, right? It can't undo any past technical mishaps you might have on your server.
So you're saying it's not like those tech guys in the movies who can just magically wave their hands and erase all traces of a hacking incident?
Sadly, no, not quite. I mean, they're good, but they're not miracle workers. What they're talking about are those deeper issues that might be lurking beneath the surface. Think a security vulnerability from, maybe a previous bad experience, or even just a messy server configuration from someone who, well, maybe they didn't know any better.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just forgetting to update your WordPress plugins. This is serious stuff.
Right. And that's why when you're choosing between self-managed and fully managed, it's not just about your current tech skills, it's also about thinking long-term. Even if you're comfortable going the self-managed route now, what happens if things get a little hairy down the line?
Yeah, because switching to fully managed later on might not magically solve all your problems. You might end up needing extra help, right?
Exactly. You might still need to bring in an expert to untangle any messes, which could end up costing you more in the long run.
So it's like they always say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And in the world of websites and online businesses, downtime and technical issues, those are definitely things we want to prevent.
Absolutely. I think the key takeaway here is choose the hosting plan that aligns with your current abilities, for sure, but also with your future needs. Think about where you see your business going and factor that in.
Solid advice. And thankfully, Heart Internet is pretty transparent about their offerings. We've got links to all their materials in the show notes, so definitely go check them out, do your research. But for now, we're going to have to leave it there. It's been a fascinating deep dive into the world of VPS hosting, but all good things must come to an end.
It really has. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. And for all you listeners out there, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep with us. We'll see you in the next episode.